Well, hi everyone, welcome back to Katarina's Garage. My name is Katarina Lloyd, and well, you might notice something kind of weird back here. I'll give you a moment to figure it out. What's wrong with the rear end of my car? Is it the license plate, which is only held by one screw at the moment? I mean, that is a problem. Is it the bumper cover that doesn't match? Well, that's been like that for a long time. No, it's the tail light here. So, what had happened, to be honest? And I don't know where it happened. Just somewhere along the highway, when I was driving this thing back home on Sunday, is the tail light lens flew off. Which I've had nothing but problems with these lights, to be honest. So, this is the moment where I'm just saying screw it, and I'm abandoning the LEDs. I already abandoned the LEDs on this side, which actually I think this one's pretty close to falling out too. So I could not get them resealed properly, and you know, it's terrible. And I've had just a bad experience with these lights, to be honest. I could never get them to work right. The speed controller never really worked, and to be honest, I just can't keep doing that anymore. So unfortunately, the LEDs are being removed, and the red tape, I was actually at Domino's, and I decided, now luckily I actually did reverse in, because I would have had no idea. I reversed the car into the parking spot just in front of Domino's, and I saw the taillight just like dangling there. I'm like, oh crap, I would not have noticed at all, to be honest, for quite a while, because I don't usually do a visual inspection of the car, like all the way around, or like if I'm behind it, or if somebody tells me something, then that's one thing, but you know, when it's your daily driver and stuff like that, or even just car in a garage, you're usually not fawning over too many details. So, but it's amazing though that those taillights, I will say, built quite well, because who knows how long they were flopping around for, and you know, but it still works. You can see the LED board here, right? And I just had to this is the tape that I had. Actually the Domino's people gave me this tape, and it worked just to get it here. And either tomorrow or maybe Thursday, hopefully, I'll have a new set of taillight lenses in the car, and so I will be removing this one and the other one here as well. But that'll be later on. So the one thing is, my whole sort of journey actually was, there was quite a bit that went on throughout the past few days. And actually, let's angle that up a bit. There we go. So my journey starts, this would have been on, I believe it was Thursday. I drove Stitch up to Edmonton, right? And you know, there was no problems driving her up, to be honest. She's a fantastic driving car, and it runs really good and everything. And I stayed there for a couple nights. Yeah, actually, I drove up on, I think it was Thursday. And then as well, something that did happen, because, and the reason why I was actually going up to Edmonton, it wasn't just for a visit. It was actually to borrow a truck. Because, well, there was an engine and transmission down in Coaldale, Alberta, that was for sale for really cheap. It was a 289.6 with a C4 automatic out of a Ford Fairmont wagon, 1981. So it's like, okay, cool. Let's, I went up there to borrow a truck off of my buddy, and that all worked out just fine, to be honest. Although the truck was quite uncomfortable for me with the seat, and I had a lot of back pain. Actually, I had to stop at one point because the back pain was just so bad. But other than that, you know, it was a fine trip. And honestly, I love driving down the Lethbridge, especially taking the Vulcan way. The Vulcan way is the best way. Google Maps will try to tell you that the number 2, like going through Nobleford and going up to number 2 is a quicker way, but it's not. Vulcan is quicker. It always has been, it always will be. Just for whatever reason, Google Maps doesn't know what it's doing. But regardless, so this car is going to be out of commission for a couple days, obviously. I'm not going to drive it around like that. I just did that as a band-aid to get it home. But, so anyways, before that even happened, let's backtrack, because I mentioned this motor and transmission. And why were we even picking it up? Well, it's actually something that we needed. We didn't need the motor, but we needed the transmission. Because, if you remember, last summer, and I had a few videos on the channel about it, there was a 1981 Mercury Capri that we picked up in Calgary that has a 296 C4 automatic, and you know, it was actually had really bad brakes and stuff like that, and I did a little bit of work to it, but then if you might remember, you might not though, because I've done a lot of videos since then, the driver's side front caliper seized up and it was smoking really bad. So driving that thing with the brakes seized up like that, it created too much pressure on the transmission, and the transmission essentially grenaded itself. It still runs, it still drives on that transmission, but you put it in gear, it doesn't know when it wants to shift or anything. It keeps upshifting and downshifting like crazy. We pulled the pan and we found some metal shards in the pan, so that's a no-go. But we actually did fix the brakes, because the brake booster was, holy crap, rusty as hell. I've never seen one that bad. We replaced the master cylinder, we replaced the brake calipers up front, so which got it to actually you know, stop pretty good, obviously, and you know, it was fine. But you know, it's just one of those things that with that car. So when I saw this up, and we already knew that potentially the transmission might need to be replaced anyways, before we even pulled the pan off and taken a look. So I decided that, you know what, I'll make the decision. I will pick up one of your trucks and do the long road trip, because I love road trips, to be honest, and especially driving down there. It's been so long since I've been down there, and I grew up in Lethbridge. I also spent a few years in Coaldale, so I kind of know my way around, to be honest. I can navigate majority of the city still, even though I haven't really been there, excluding then, for a few years now. So, and if you're wondering, Coaldale is about 10 kilometers east of Lethbridge, and fun fact, there is no East Lethbridge. There's only North, South, and West Lethbridge. Then there's about 10 kilometers of highway with some businesses and whatever else along the way, and then you reach Coaldale. Pretty simple. It's definitely an interesting setup, but then I actually did a video of just a time-lapse of traveling from north of Vulcan to Lethbridge. And it's just a fun video to film. I like doing those time-lapse videos. But, so I get down there, right, and it's all good, and, you know, I stop in Lethbridge, I get a bite to eat at Brown Social House. It's one of my favorite places. I haven't been there in years. Me and my bestie used to go every few weeks when we'd alternate who's paying, and it was such a fun time. You know, a much simpler time, too, back then. But, you know, so, yeah, and then I get back on the road, and I still have a bunch of back pain, but I'm dealing with it. And I stopped in, actually, Calgary for about 40 minutes for a car meet with No Boys Allowed, which, if you didn't know, No Boys Allowed is a women's-only car club that, honestly, we're just about having fun in the car hobby. That's it, you know? And I have more fun, typically, with the women's-only car meets than with the unisex, or even, which the unisex meets, honestly, are mostly men, anyways. So, and some of them can actually be okay, but there's a lot that can be a little toxic, depending on where you go. So you have to watch out for that. But honestly, it's pretty good. So yeah, I am. So after, you know, that, then I get back up on the road again and go to. I stop in Olds after that little car meet, and I'm at the co-op actually, and I'm screaming in pain because the back pain was just killing me. And if you didn't know, I have a bad lower back, because when I was 13, I may have actually been 12, but I think I was 13. It was a grade 9 ski trip, and I had a bad wipeout on my snowboard. So unfortunately, it's kind of screwed up my back ever since. Now I can still function and do a lot of stuff, but it does mean that, like, firmer seats and stuff like that, I have difficulty doing, and I find a lot of new cars, like the Magnum, which I'll be driving here shortly, is very uncomfortable, to be honest. So it's one of those deals. But so anyways, so that was on Saturday, right? This big long road trip was Saturday. I drove down, and then I drove back here to Sundre, and I parked the truck just over there. And then the next day at about 2 o'clock, I start my journey again, because I just needed some rest, to be honest. It was a long day. Then, you know, I jump in the truck and drive back up to Edmonton, drive this back, and at some point during the journey back, that's when the taillight lens flew off. This was Sunday. And the thing is, on Sunday, because my dad needed to be driven to the airport at 2:30 in the morning. So, yeah, that was a problem. So I had to actually take the Magnum. And basically, over the past, from Thursday to Monday morning, like 6:30 in the morning, I had driven close to actually over 1,500 kilometers because of the going to Calgary. So, yeah. And it was a lot. I enjoy that drive, though. I've only done that drive actually once, going down to, or not even going down, I came back up from Lethbridge. It was a few years back, just a really horrible situation I was in. I had to actually get my dad to rescue me, which it's a long trek to go from here to Lethbridge. It's about, what is it, 500 kilometers, give or take? Something like that. It's, well, no, it's not that much from here. What am I talking about? It's like about 3.5 hours, to be honest, drive. But it's a nice drive. Honestly, I love the area. But, and I didn't realize how much I missed Lethbridge until I did that trip. But, you know, that's how it goes, right? And, you know, it was a good trip. It's a very fun trip. But, so now, like I said, we have a motor and tranny for the motor, just a spare, which that might be sent down to California for that, if you remember the EFI swap on this thing with the multi-point fuel injection and being a DIS system, that might be the donor motor for that. And then we'll actually just use that entire motor and put it into this, because, you know, as long as it's a pretty, it seems like a healthy motor, but I don't know for sure. I haven't heard it run, but regardless, the transmission I know was good because the fluid looked fucking fantastic in it, and the guy drove it from Calgary to Lethbridge, so I can't imagine it being too bad. So, yeah, but that's how the past few days have gone, and I just took yesterday basically as just kind of a rest day altogether, because there was a lot of driving, and especially Team No Sleep engaged again with driving my dad to the airport at 2:30 in the morning. It was just nuts. I had zero sleep doing that. So, yeah, it's something I don't recommend, but something sometimes you just have to do, right? But, yeah, so anyways, that'll about wrap up this video, to be honest. This is just kind of an update on what happened to the car, what's going to happen with the car, the road trip, that 81 Capri, which we're hoping for that Capri, actually, to enter it into the Great Beater Challenge, to be honest, because it's going to be over budget now, but still, it should be a fantastic entry to that. So, and I really like that car. I really like driving it too. It's a really neat spec, to be honest, because I'm impartial to it because this is a 208 inline 6 as well. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please like the video. Comment anything you want to see down below. And I mean, if you want to see videos on this Magnum, maybe I'll do a review on it, to be honest. It's just, you have to let me know down below though, because I don't know, the reviews don't seem to do as well on my channel as well as I'd like, so for the amount of effort I put into them. But anyways, hope you did enjoy. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, all that stuff. You know how it goes. Hope you're staying safe during COVID-19. Good luck with what we're working on, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!